What's up, everybody? Brambo here. Not the usual stream today, so we're going to be diving into the hype chamber. For those that, if you're joining the stream but haven't looked at the tutorial for the hype chamber, I highly recommend you do that unless you're very familiar with it already, without the tutorial, because I'm not going to go over like the basic stuff. I might glance over it, but I'm not really going to go into full detail. But long story short, I have some work that I wanted to do in the hype chamber, and I figured it would be a good opportunity to share with everybody, you know, just some of the extra things that I've learned in the past couple months that I've been using hype chamber. I use it weekly. And I used it for some other things. I actually got some. I was fortunate enough to do some paid gigs for it. So I have a, you know, as you can see, like in the intro, the starting soon screen. That is actually a scene in here. We can get into that as we move along. So first, I am going to move myself now. Move the chat over. I'm gonna move myself, I guess, too. I guess it's fine right there. If it's if it's in the way, just let me know, and I'll move it. I'll ungroup everything and figure out how to move it. I figured that was the best spot to not get in the, not totally get in the way, but anyway, why don't we get started? So I'm watching chat, so feel free if you have any questions, just hit me up in chat and I will respond to them as I see them. But for first, so the things that I wanted to do, well, actually one thing I wanted to point out, by default, this this is what your content browser, what it first looks like. I highly recommend you open the sources panel. This is actually, I just figured this out like a week ago, or a week or two ago, and it's been essential for just easier to import stuff. So I have to import some car decals. I think I have one of them already in here. I think it's everyone. I think that's, oh no, that's Cobalt. Is that the same one? Looks like maybe teal. Nope, that's none of them. All right, we're going to import those. So we're just going to right click here, add import content. Gonna bring all these in. Thanks to Sonic for giving me those. One thing I mentioned, I might have mentioned before, but you definitely want to save. Every time you import a new texture, you're gonna want to save, because if I close this right now and something crashes, this will be gone. So it might not be an issue if the texture's gone, but if the material, if you say you don't save the texture and then you build a material and save the material, then you got to re-import the texture, reassign it all. It's annoying. Am I going to make one for each? I think I'm going to just make it much easier for myself. So I just hit Control W. I just hit Control 7 or Control W to copy, and then that way. Oh yeah, there is. Okay, so teal, lime. What textures don't I have? Scroll. Try to look for it. Oh, they're there. Cobalt, crimson. Teal. The naming's all off, so let me fix that. I'm going to hit F2. T, octane, L7, that's cobalt. There we go. And this is crimson. T, octane, 7, crimson. And I stated this in the tutorial as well, but I cannot state it enough. This is just very, very important to keep the naming convention, because when you're in like looking through stuff to add, you're really not sure what's what. Unless you do like T for texture and then like the car for the octane, L7. And that's, oh crap, I already forgot what it was. I think that's teal. That second one. And lime, where are you? There it is. T, octane, L7, lime, 2, right, T, octane, L7, midnight. So, all right, we got our textures. We're going to move over to the materials now. So we have lime, teal. We're going to get cobalt in here. Brims. Oops, we don't want that. If I hit escape, it just doesn't actually do it. Cobalt. Oh, it does exist. Where is it? Oh, cobalt. Did that one. Crimson. Midnight. I think that's all of them. So remember, a little dot. Make sure you save it. Control. I'm using Control S. Just saves a bunch of time. Okay, so this is cobalt. That texture in there. Midnight. I could spell midnight right. Midnight, cobalt, teal. Teal's are dated it. This is my custom one. And I also have to update lime. So one thing I wanted to point out in the textures, it's not necessarily for height chamber, but if you notice the difference between this decal and the one I have like necessarily in the height chamber, let me turn this off. So like a lot of this will be white in the demo that I gave, but I noticed that if you have any part of this visible, So like if any part of this is like white and you try to say import this into the game itself, say you want to use this skin for in the game, anything that's white is going to show up as like it will go under the car, it'll go around the car. So if you notice on Sonic's, it's all black because it'll show kind of like a white underline in the car in the game. It's only in the game. It doesn't matter for the hype chamber. The hype chamber doesn't care. But just another little fun fact for you. So we have all of our assets in here, and what I'm going to save myself some time, and I'm just going to use the Latin 7 assets here. But I'm just going to, well, no, it's probably not a good idea because each have their own color. So, yeah. Hey, Sonic. We'll just start off with one scene with Latin 7, and I'll just add the teams as they want. So, let's see. We're going to go into scenes. I'm going to... Did I save all of my stuff for that? I have been good. Very good. Been busy. Just with everything. I'm trying to improve the stream and all that stuff. And, oh good, I did save which ones I did. So, yeah, this is the original sample of what I was doing, but I'm going to be redoing these because these are the old models. So I haven't updated, I've updated with a new model. So these clips are made with the original model that I was using in the tutorial, but I have since switched to a model that was provided by Nightwolf in the overlay Discord. So shout out to Nightwolf for an amazing car. It's really outstanding, and I can't wait to show you. So why don't we get into just kind of messing around with some other scenes. So let's take a look at the matchup one first. And we are going to load up the scene. So if in case we need to make some changes, which scene is this? So if you highlight over, you can see scenes, int matchup, ls matchup. Okay. Int matchup, ls matchup. Oh, this has my my handiwork on it. Okay. So, as you can tell already, there's been some modifications. Oh, I gotta mute that sound. That's annoying. So, everything that you need to do, I might have to make a new scene. I may have to make a new. Well, we'll fix it. We'll just fix it. We're just gonna mute this so we don't have to keep hearing that sound. So, if you notice, in the so this is the matchup, and it's designed to have two cars. And well, one thing right off the I'm glad you're enjoying the popcorn. It's something that you can do at your job. So if you notice, it's designed for two cars, but the one thing that comes into it by default is that every car, it's the same octane car. So when I was actually, I made for an announcement video, just when I was announcing the fact that, excuse me, I'm just trying to think real quick. When I was announcing that I was joining Latin 7 as a content creator, I wanted to figure out how to do two different cars. You know, I wanted my logo here and I wanted Latin 7's logo here. And I had to figure out some things at first. So number one is how to change the view on the screen, because obviously that's not the original screen on there. And also versus isn't there before, and The marquees are different. So, oh, is it freezing on me already? The jank has begun. There we go. Yeah, I don't think it likes me streaming and doing this at the same time. So, how you fix that is you literally you have to import the media first. So I have a MP4 that where is that? I think that's in my video projects. Is it? No. So where is it? Organized as ever. Maybe it's in here. Oh, yeah. So... Nope. That's the full video. I don't know if this matters. But anyway, let's see where this shows. Ah. Casting your victory screen setup announcing. That's where it is. Okay. So I made this MP4. You have to have a specific file to bring it in. So I have that MP4 and I imported it into this scene. And then you go into the sequencer and you literally drag that video into the scene. So what I'm going to do, it's an invalid screen. Player file. I don't know how to restore that. That's the funny thing. Once you break it, you don't remember how to fix it. Let's open up another. Let's go to a different scene for now. I might have to open up another scene to fix that because I don't remember the original file, but it doesn't really matter. Let's add another scene. Let's find something cool. Do I have any? Oh, I do have these MP4s. Okay, let's bring that in. Just bring a random asset in. Why not? Make it abstract. All right, we got that. Gonna drag this bad boy right in here and delete that. Does that fix it? Does not. So how do I do that? Oh boy, I'm really going down the rabbit hole already. Just double clicking on this. Oh, that's right. I believe Christoph told me that you have to play it once in order to see it show up in there. So now that we have that, I believe if we close this. Oh yeah, I got to make sure you save the sequencer. Switch over to something else and we'll load it back up. That's the original cut right there. That's the matchup intro. Okay. Freezing again. Now it's showing. Oh boy. You got it's so jank that we're not even going to get to that part. So why don't we switch to another scene for now? Team Hype Chamber. That's a good one. And if anybody's interested in getting the updated model, I will share that, but I will warn you, it is laced with peak level esports stuff, and you're going to have to figure out how to change that stuff, and we're going to go over that. Maybe I should have practiced a little bit before we got into it. Oh god, that sound. Gotta mute that. So, as I was saying before, everything when you're trying to render a scene lives and dies actually by the sequencer. Not so much the world outliner or anything like that. There are some things you're going to have to change, but a lot of the things that you're going to need to do are in the sequencer. So if you need to change anything to what it needs to look like, you just need to open the scene in the level sequencer and make the changes, and then also make sure you save the changes, because if you don't save the changes, then it's not going to actually render. Fortunately for this one, there's not too much. Oops. There's not too much that needs to change. So why don't we give that one a quick render? I'm just going to put that one in. Also, just if you wanted to get into here and you wanted to add settings, you can always hit edit, change the settings however you want, change wherever it goes, which is something, if you use Nightwolves, you are going to have to change this, because it'll actually try to save to a place that doesn't exist. And then when you go to render it, it won't actually, it'll fail. So it'll take like 1 or 2 frames and then it'll fail. And you'll be like, why is it doing that? That's why. Because it always make sure it's got the right output directory. So let's do a quick render of this one real quick. I think that's actually, you know what? Because we're doing this for the samples, why don't I just change the output, make my life a little easier. All right. Whatever it asks you to do, I always hit no, because I don't know what it's asking me for. Because it seems like every time I save something, it breaks it. So that rule still applies. So you see in the rendering screen, it's warming up. Too long. See it. See, like the car just looks so much better with the Cristianos, and the texture. The engine texture looks really good. The tires are a little more matte and embossed, and the bumps are actually on the inside now, not the outside, where it looks like, you know, before it had the tire had veins. Now it actually looks like a proper tire. Again, all this was the work of Nightwolf, so definitely a shout out to Nightwolf and all the great work he does. And, you know, as I said before, render times will vary. So your render times will vary. Mine's going to go a little faster than probably most. Well, I'm doing 1080, so it's not going to take too long. But for this scene specifically, when we talked about you only needed to do a certain amount of things for the hype chamber to do the winter screen, when you start branching out into these other scenes, that's where the other assets make a difference. So, well, let me talk about that a bit. So for Latin 7 specifically, I obviously did more of the work and filling out everything in there for them. because so they need the logo for the 3D texture, which is in that first scene we showed you. It had the logo inside the hex, and then all these other colors here are the second palettes. Those all will matter in some of these scenes. I don't think it matters so much in this one. We can take a look here. Team logo in here. Yeah, see in the logo, the dynamic logo. So this is the car, home and away. This stuff is what matters. This stuff will actually matter in the scenes, and you will need to add these when you are doing other things. Now, if you notice very slightly in the background, right here, there's an imprint of the Latin 7 logo right here, and that's the dynamic color theme for the back logo. So it actually puts it in the scene, kind of. It kind of makes a little shadow, a transparent shadow. So again, this stuff is very important once you start getting into the other scenes. So what I do, I don't know if this is right. Again, I'm not a graphic designer, nor do I claim to be one. I'm a person that likes to do everything myself, and for better or worse, that's just how it works. So what I end up doing is I use Affinity Photo. You can use Photoshop, whatever you want. And I think Photoshop actually has a alpha layer that you can export. And I tried doing, I have CS55. I couldn't figure out how to do it, but all I ended up doing was going into adjustments here and looking for a grayscale. There's an actual one called grayscale. Yep, grayscale. So I literally grayscaled it and then just marked it off, saved it as the Latin 7 alpha. Oh, wait, actually, I'm not saving it. Got to export it as the Latin 7 alpha. Well, I call it a grayscale, but it's technically the alpha channel. So that's all I did. It seems to be working for me, but if I get a more complex logo, maybe not. And then for the 3D logo, unless you have an actual 3D model and for like Blender, a 3D mesh file, you're best to just use the static mesh for the hex, and because that's the same thing. So the difference is, so like this is the hex, and then this is like the actual logo, like a 3D logo of that team. Now, you can totally do it if you want to, but for my purposes, there's no way I could get one of those done. So I use the hex, and then the marquee top and bottom. That's pretty explanatory. So these second palettes will matter, and also if you notice here, the background is one color, and then if the fill is actually like a second shade that gives it the lines. If you notice in here, it gives you the lines. So like if I wanted it to be one solid color, I could just copy this color and paste it here, and then it would just be a flat color. But I add that for a little texture. So we got the one scene done. Let's take a look at it. Resources. All right, I changed it because I was going to make my life easier. I already forgot what I did. Samples, round 2. Let's take a look at it. Looks pretty good. All right, so then we're going to move on to the player name. So for that one, int player name, ls int player name. Remember, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Okay, so when you're in the level sequencer, obviously you want to like browse around just to make sure that it looks right. Now, I don't think we want player name to be the name, and so we can change that. Now this is where you got to mess with the. So go into the level sequencer, and you got to scroll down, look at what you're looking for. So marquee is here, the hex logo's here, like everything is all in here and set to a certain way. And some of the scenes you will have to change. And like this one specifically, go to details. Let's do Sonic Cret. Why not? All right. So now, as you can see, it didn't actually change, and that is because it's kind of like does this little flicker thing, and those are all. Oh God, that audio again. We're gonna mute that bad boy. Those are all little layers, so you have to go into not just here. See, I changed it here, but I didn't change it here. So, you enter there. Here. Here. Now we go from player name to Sonic Cret. There we go. And the updated Latin 7 logos. All right, now save the sequence, and we will render this, and we'll make sure it actually works. I think that should work, but you know, it looks a little long. The player name is now Peak Level Esports. Okay. That's going to be one little problem that you're going to find throughout this. And like you watched me change it from Peak Level, you watched me change it from Peak like even it was player name, but now it's Peak Level Esports, and that is a issue that I came across so many times, and I believe that's the jank you're gonna have to work with sometimes, and I don't have an answer as to why it does this. All I know is that Nightwolf did an amazing job embedding Peak Level Esports into this save file, and I am forever bound to it. And I will have to do this every time. So let me fix that. Now let's hope that changes it. It might change it back. Yep, it just did it, as you can tell there. But it might still work in the render. Oh, I forgot all about this. Let's see. Nope, it didn't change. Okay. How did I fix this? How did I fix this? There was something in... Oh, that's right. There was... In the hype chamber controller. Boom. Player... Okay. This might do it. So if you go into the hype chamber controller, if you notice, Peak Level Esports, Latin 7, all that stuff is there. This is the static stuff in here. So let's change this to Sonic Cret. And I think that's all we actually have to do. We don't even have to change it in here. Let's try that. We're learning together. Like, I have the memory of, I swear, a squirrel. Like, I've done this. I have done this and done this and done this. But I forget. Oh, yeah. My camera is going to really... mix as I'm rendering this live on stream. Maybe I'll just turn my camera off because it's gonna be so out of sync. It's not even funny. This hype chamber is just brutal. on a computer while you're streaming at the same time. I guess this shows like, and I'm running a beefy computer. I have a beefy computer. I have a 5950X and a 3090, and it is, you see what it's doing to the stream right now. But that's also rendering. I think if you're doing it live, I don't think it does the same amount of work. But we shall see. Gonna wait here for, like I said, it takes like a couple minutes to render, and I don't mind waiting. That's much better. Okay, let's see if it fixed it. Yep, but my camera is all out of sync, so let's fix that real quick. I think I'm just going to turn my camera off because it's going to keep doing that every time I render. We'll see. Is it better? No. All right. Yeah, I'm just going to turn my camera off because that's going to be too distracting. Okay. So we figured out that you have to go into the Hype Chamber controller, into the details, and if you need to change text levels like player names and stuff, change it here. Don't worry about changing it here. See, that's the weird thing. Some things get changed in here, some things get changed in here, and then some things you have to change in the actual world. It all really, it's all like something you have to really play with. So we got that done. We got to go back to the versioning utility. And also, so you've got the main mode select, and then you got the sequence select, but then you have different text versions. So you've got a big double line, a highlighted single line, and like some of these things matter where others don't. And there's, I believe this specific one, it doesn't matter for the player name. I think the player name is the player name. It's the text where that really changes. So let's go into there. So that is, see, like there's two different text, like, yeah, that's the text. So we'll go into single line. It's ls text ints one switch. See, there's like 4 different scenes. Okay, so, oh, the sound again. It's screeching on my ears. Hate it. Okay, so this is a perfect example of like all the different assets and the patterns you can change in here. So, like you can, is that anything noticeable? No. Change anything? It changed the light down here. So you can get real fancy with it. If you just play around with all the different settings. So like, you know, this is a whole scene here. Actually, if you want to see what that fully looks like, if you go into the matchup scene, all right, you might have seen some people use this, specifically like Peak Level Esports. There's a couple other groups that do it. It's really cool. So we'll just ignore the butchering I've done to it for now. But let's scroll this out. It actually is a pretty long scene. So if you scroll and just let it go for a while, let it go. Eventually the camera will if you notice here, this camera, oh, cool, we'll follow it. It turns around and the cars go back, and then it goes all the way down in here, and you can use that for like a very cool transition. Obviously change the colors on the banners and stuff, but you can have that actually transition into your Rocket League scene. And I did do that for a peak level esports cast I did a couple months ago, and it was really cool to do. And the one thing, and you have to render it with an alpha layer in the back, but the cool thing about it is, so you put the game scene in the same scene as this transition, and then what this game will literally show up here, and then you, once the scene ends, the screen ends, you move it to to the main Rocket League casting scene. It's a really cool transition, and I'll have to ask Nightwolf specifically how you render it with an alpha layer, because I haven't done this, but it's a really, really, really cool thing. And let's go back to our text scenes. So what I'm doing is I do these renders for, I am available for hire to do these renders. Obviously, I give you the tools to learn how to do it yourself, but if that's not good enough, then, and you need somebody to do it for you, then I am available for hire. So I'm making these so I can have sample shots of what your scene will look like on Fiverr. But if you're interested in having me do these for you, just hit me up on Discord. I think my fee is, I do 15. It's like $15 a render, and then I think $75 for up to six rendered scenes, and that includes, like, you know, designing the like a stock, not too fancy decal or skin for the car and whatnot. So this is why I'm doing this, but I'm also giving Sonic and Latin 7 the info. So we talked about peak level esports in the text showing up. So for this one, it's a single line. So what we need to do is go into the world, go into the hype chain controller, and see how it says single line. It's single double line, I think. No, single line. It's not a single line. It's actually two lines. So we'll do that. This will be a good example of Latin 7. Let's make this line. I already have a thing for them. Oh, no, no, no. Okay, so I think we got all the info we need. So it shows peak level esports and all this stuff, but oh, I gotta change that logo. I gotta fix that. Latin 7. I did make a separate one for teal and one for lime, but I used the same logo. Did I actually? No, I didn't. Okay. So this is what I mean. Like, this is just so handy. So now all I have to do is just go in here, right click on textures, import. Latin 7. All right, so now that's imported. Where is it? T logo L7 line. Boom. Now it's saved. Okay, close that, and then we'll just switch it back just to so it's updates. Oh, it's not updating now, but I think once we start the render, it will. So why don't we start the render? Again, it's warming up here. It's it changed everything. Oh boy. I got the text in there, but it changed the car. Oh boy. Go into the sequencer. So because it didn't change, it wasn't listening to the version utility. What I do from there is I look at what's actually in the sequencer. So no marquees, chevron. Okay, another thing to keep in mind. If you see something marked as brand, that means it will completely ignore any team colors you have. So there are assets like assigned for team. So if you want to look like Team A fill, you're going to want that instead of the brand because the brand is one specific color. But I think in this case for us it doesn't matter. Well, that's all the... See if we can... An emissive. Alright, we're gonna fix this because, you know, got to be able to figure out how to do this, right? We're gonna learn together. Okay, so that is located in... Hey, Nightwolf, speak of the devil, there he is. How you doing, my man? I was just cursing your name. I must have cursed it 3 times. And you show up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Material Element 5. I definitely did. I'm just going to click Browse. So these are all the emissive textures. So it looks like there are emissives for the logo, for the teams. So it's good to know. So it's emissive. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go into the sequencer. Paste that. Boom. Okay. All right. So we got to change a color. But what color is that tied to? So we're going to go back into Latin 7 Lime. Oh, I never changed this. How? Because I didn't need it. That's right. See? I just copied Latin 7 stuff. Oh, yeah, that's the team light. Okay, that's the team light. So we're going to fix that. I was just cursing your name because you managed to embed peak level esports in every facet of this save file that you shared with me. And it's like it's a haunting. It's haunting. Ah, there we go. Team lights. There we go. Look at that. We got the green here. Doesn't that look sick? Okay. So that's one piece. So now we've got another brand. So we'll click on this, go into details, So what is it actually highlighting? It's another emissive. So I think all we have to do, no, not that one. All right, go back here. That's the main screen light strip. Platform. Yeah, let's just use this one. Just see what it all looks like. All right. Yep. Yep. Gonna like be like inside of Slimer here when we're done. All this lime. Another emissive. Oh, it's gonna just scream green. Oh, we're gonna make this all the Team A emissives. We're gonna go full ham here. Goodness, look at all these lights. Jeez, yes. You want it to look right, you got to put in the work, right? And I'm lazy. I could just copy and paste it to all of them. I would. It's gonna like be vomiticious green. No, not that. We don't want the chrome rims. But you can already start to see like the different shade, the greens coming in as I'm slowly but surely adding all of the team lights. Isn't Hype Chamber fun? And just when you start to think you've understood one part of it, it throws another curveball. Or Nightwolf throws a curveball at you, and then you're like, what the hell just happened? Again, if people are interested in the Nightwolf save, I can share it out. It's pretty big. What I end up doing is I use that as kind of like my template. And if anything ever happens, I literally just copy and paste it. Like I have it right here. And I just copy and paste it back in. And like I kind of start from ground zero. Which I should update that car of the textures and then like copy the project over again. I should do that. But am I going to? Remains to be seen. Definitely not going to do it right now. So we got the lights, the intensity and the color. Okay, we don't need to worry about that. Text, I don't need to worry about that. Oh, we got to change that. Because, I mean, it's messing our whole flow here. We got green, blue. We're all over the place here. We got to make it look right. So, Chevron Team A tunnel. Okay, that's what we want. Here, Chevron Team A tunnel. Again, brand, Worn Edge L. Let's click on this. Click on this. Is there a team one in here? Trans band. They do. I did update the textures. I did update the textures. You will be able to tell when you look at them. But I have it in this working in this project, and I didn't save it to your template. Still has your old textures in there, so that's what I haven't updated. Uh, is this the same thing? Trans pattern? No. Is it the same thing? We'll go with this one. See how that looks. Where's the right? Why is it just showing the... There we go. Look at that. All right. That's looking all... Oh, look at that. That's so much better. Now we just got to fix the right. There we go. Boom. Look at all that green goodness. It's like we're inside Slimer. Teammate accents. There we go. Okay. All the brand stuff is... Now we're going to save this. And let's see if any of this stuff actually took. Ooh, it's looking nice. Let's see if the logo updated too. It's the old logo. It never updated. Ah. All right. Now I gotta see. I ignore these errors. A couple of people have mentioned, "Oh, I got an error when I rendered." This doesn't seem to really do anything. I think it's not liking the fact that there's something starting at behind frame 0, but it really doesn't mean anything. So you should be fine. Let me check Latin 7 Live again. It's got the logo. Oh, that's why. It doesn't have the logo here. So let's go to the materials. This is like, there's so many aspects to keep track of that you can't. There's so many things to keep track of that you can't really really remember anything unless you're Nightwolf, and then then you can. But we can't all be gods. So I'm gonna fix this. I'm gonna add the lime logo to it. Boom. So it's literally a material. Good to know. Okay, so we're gonna material 2D logo. This stuff doesn't matter. It's all the same. Logo hex. All right. Now let's try this again. And the big reveal. Yeah, still the same logo. Let's turn this back. Oh, it's regular Latin 7. There we go. Ta-da! It was the material. All right, let's try this again. Look at all that green. It's radioactive. But it does look pretty cool. While that's going, I'm gonna change this view to details because I need to pay attention to the size. So I rendered this a couple times, and the biggest one is the one that actually finished. So let's delete those. That one finished. That's the one that's currently getting created, so we're going to leave that one there. B, can you tell it's your updated textures there, Wolfie? Oh, lime's cut off by the car. It's there though. It's there in spirit. Spot it now once the car. Yeah, there you go. Boom. There we go. That's pretty cool. All right. And now here's the other thing. That was just single line. Then we've got double line. So text too big. That was just one scene. But I think we saved it, so it should stay that way, but no guarantees. So we're going to go back into the scenes. Which is text, too big, open it up. And we got to change all of these again. You remember that last time? I like how it's trying to act like it's going to use these assets like they're like I'd set them up. Oh, also, if you're in the sequencer and you want to see what the camera actually is going to show, just go into the cameras and then click on camera control. It'll give you this little I don't think that's the right camera. I think that's the right camera. But it'll give you a camera view of what it's going to look like. Ooh, that's sick. And also, you'll notice in some of these, there's stuff that goes beyond. Let's add 2,000. There, it goes beyond what's actually there. So, like, if for this red line, if you wanted to go even further, you can. But it doesn't look like there's anything extra past this, so we'll leave it there. But if you wanted it to go longer, all you have to do is move this red line back, and then it'll go past the. That's what this is basically the render start and end line. So like the green is the start, red is the end. That's a cool transition there. Let's see if it actually updates it or leaves it the same. Oh, Nightwolf, you dastardly little devil. Look at that. Look at that creeping in there. You had me. You had me fooled again. I keep falling for it every time. Keep falling for it. At least that's the same. So it's. Is it the text that's not showing? Oh, that's what threw me off. The peak level esports up there. Maybe it was working, but we do have to fix that because no offense, Nightwolf, but not everybody is part of the peak. Well, they're not part of the game. Where's the unbranded button 7? We'll just go with that. Have one. Apparently, I don't. Okay, well, gotta fix that. I always have this on standby. Oh, there it is right there. But looks like it's only got one Latin 7. So we're going to keep 2. That's a cool thing that I want to share. So if you ever, like if you ever save, it's like I just did, I just saved over something that wasn't there before. Like you just had something and you saved it and you just overwrote it and you have it in the hype chamber already. And I'm trying to see if I do or not. Let's see. Okay, yeah, I already have it in here. So I already imported it once, but I have now updated it. So if I want to, all I have to do is re-import, right click it, re-import, boom, updated, done. Now, is there a material for it? I don't think there is. Oh, it is. 7 top. Unbranded. Well, then what am I missing here? I'm just blind. There it is. Cool. So we're going to save this. And then we're going to try again. But that doesn't look like our car. So that might have to be something we figured out. Yeah, because that looks like a peak level esports car. At least I got the text right. Like I said, you're haunting. All right, the color isn't right. That's Wolfie, Wolfie, Wolfie. What are you doing to me? And yes, you get blamed for this. Yeah, so look at that. Sleight of hand right there. Look at that. Slippery, slippery fella. That's what I mean, where some things work off of the version utility and others don't. There's no rhyme or reason that I've noticed so far. Now that I have it to teammate, it should work. That's better. Did I not fix that? Look at that chrome just shining. That's the chrome just shining off it. That looks nice. There it is. By the way, I'm a content creator for Latin 7. If you're interested in joining, they have tons of teams that actually started an Apex Legends team. So if you're looking for a cool group to hang out with, play some games with, you know, pwn some noobs, check them out. Give them a follow on Twitter, Latin7_GG, and they have a link to their Discord. Again, really cool guys. Give them a check out. Give them a follow. Sonic does awesome work with all the teams that are showing up and have games and IGL and stuff. He is on top of it. And we're going to be doing, at the end of the month, we're going to be doing a show, a coffee break, I believe we're calling it at the moment, with coffee break. And it'll be just the highlights of all things Latin 7, what we're doing there. And yeah, check them out if you're looking for an org. By the way, thank you. I want to officially thank everybody for the 500. What am I looking at? 200 followers. I'm looking at 5 viewers and 200 followers. Look for 200 follows. That is awesome. I am so astonished that I've just started like really streaming in April, and it has blown up. So as a thank you to everybody, not the next stream, the next IGL stream I do the full one, and I have a full 3 games. I'm going to be doing a 1,000 Rocket League credit giveaway 3 times. At the end of each game, I'm going to be giving away 1,000 Rocket League credits. Now, to be eligible, you have to follow the channel. You have to be there for the stream to get them. And I have to be able to trade them with you in Rocket League for you to get them. So if you meet all 3 of those requirements, you are eligible for the credits. And subscribers do get a 5 times bump chance to win. So not that it's required. I just want to, give my subs a bonus for appreciative for subscribing to my channel. So we got that done. Promos are over. Time for the work, what you're really here for. Okay. Double line done. Now let's go to highlighted single line. Okay. Single line. The audio again. Oh, we got some brand colors going on here. Although that kind of looks cool, but we're going to have to change that to black, though. Brand. Look at this brand. Go into details. We'll find that. It's not in the screen content. Oh, it is. I already saved these, so I'm just going to say don't save. Never save. It always screws things up. Tricky, tricky. Oh boy. I'm going to have to close, reopen. When you get to a point where it's like no return, it's best to just close it and reopen it. Okay, so we're going to go back into text. Latin 7 lime. And we're going to go to the highlighted double line. And then we're going to double line. Now all we were trying to do was change this. This mystery texture. Which says it's in the screen content, which it isn't. Wolf, do you have any idea where this is? In here. If that's... No. Using these textures. Let's see if we can mess with this. We can find a team version of it. Obviously, brand is going to be... I have found this before. Let's see if we can... What was that where it is? 2D scene? Slow expand. Yep, there it is. Found it. Yeah, what I did last time is I copied it. Which I might have to just do that. Let's be a team version of this. Nope. Okay. We're doing it the old-fashioned way. We're just gonna change the color. So I already did this once, so we're just gonna make it black. We're gonna go back into our scene. Save this. I'm just gonna hit F2, copy the name, go into the sequencer, paste, boom. Boom. Yeah, there we go. Sometimes you just gotta manually do it. Now what is this? Does that have to do with anything? Does it? Let's see. Going into the cameras. Manual. Oh, that band in the middle. Okay. Probably want that to be... I want it to be the accent. Yes. Okay, that's the team accent, and then these are the text, which we got to change again. Because, like I said, tricky little wolfie. If you see the RLCS controller in the scene, that means you're probably going to have to update it. And since we closed and reopened, we're also going to have to change the text here. Yep. Lat 7. I think we've got all the noise. Oh yeah, save. X double line. We'll change this just for sanity purposes. Make sure it's still okay. All right. Warming up. How's everybody else doing today? The 3 people that are here. Who's actually here? Who's Sonic and Wolfie? Must be alt-tabbed. Oh, that's right. The flicker, the screen flicker. That's the one. It actually, now that I remember, it doesn't. Hi, Corey. How you doing? I haven't talked to you in a while. I've been so busy. We have had any time to really game. And don't think I haven't forgotten. We still have to play Strikers. I haven't forgotten. I know you joined the group and then we never actually played. Have you actually played it? Yeah, me neither. I was waiting for you. So, as you can see, that one was very flickery, but if we watch it, it shouldn't. Yeah, it doesn't actually flicker. Oh, man. I don't know if you noticed it. It's got Brambo right at the top. That's not good. Because if I'm going to give this to Latin 7, they can't have my name just plastered all over it. Or can they? Keyword. Missing that? Why am I missing the marquee? Well, I guess I gotta change it up here now. Okay. Is it on the bottom too? Yep. Yep. Okay. Let's try it again. But yeah, we'll have to play soon. That's been on the back of my mind. But I think my Switch is dead. I haven't been using it all that much now that I have the Steam Deck. I'm just so infatuated with that. And the fact that I can actually play like multiverses on the deck. Excuse me. Hiccups. I think multiverses is on the Switch, right? Oh, I thought it was available on the Switch. Yeah, I've been playing multiverses. Not a whole lot because I haven't really played much other than Heroes every now and then. Because by the time with streaming and work and everything else, it's like I don't really have time for much else. But I will have time to be shredding the streets with my new electric skateboard, courtesy of Steve. All right, we got the Lat 7 in there. Another shot. Much better. Okay. And now we've got the simple double line, which is text 4, single screen. Oh, okay. So this one might be familiar to everybody if you watch my stream at all. Okay. Okay. This is another brand, but I think there is a team one for this, so I don't know why I did that. I guess I just wasn't paying attention. Let's fix that. Yeah. Translucent, Team A. Let's try it. Yep, that's it. There we go. Teams! Looks good. All right, got that saved. This might look familiar if you watch my stream at all. Once it actually starts up. This is where this is how I built the instant replay screen. Obviously I did a little extra work to it, but that's the kind of stuff you can do with, this is just the stock screens. You can take this and then put it into, you know, your favorite video editor, mine's DaVinci Resolve, and just shorten it, make it a loop, turn it into a GIF. You can do all kinds of different extra things to just add a whole bunch of assets to it. And that's just the stock. That's just the stock of stuff you can do. Now, if you notice on my streams, when my cam's actually there, that's also from the hype chamber. What I ended up doing was I took the car out of the screen, out of the scene. I just I took all the movement out of the camera. I just kept it completely still, took everything out except for my logo and the scrolling the marquee stuff on the top and bottom. And it's like a background screen. It's literally like basically the camera's on the ground floor with the, it's on the ground floor with the platform is, and that's a great background screen. And I just put it on a loop. I cut it where it would just fit in the loop perfectly, and it's really good. It's really good stuff for like that. And if you check out my YouTube channel, I have a playlist in there called Creative Work, where I've done a couple videos. Actually, there's going to be a new one up there that I did that unfortunately I don't think is going to really see the light of day due to some roster changes, but I will be making that one public at this point, because, you know, I want to use it as my showcasing of my body of work. Just different things I did with the hype chamber to add some oomph to the video. So you don't even, like, even if you're not using this for casting, you could still use it for adding, you know, some extra scenes to your video or your production or all kinds of stuff. So this is the one I was telling you about with the logo. So let's get into that one. Obviously they're not, oh, audio, go away. Now this is supposed to be team. Let's see if it actually is. Let's just render, see what happens. Still warming up. If you're worried about it like frozen, there were some cases where like you want to pay attention to like warming up, rendering. If you know what, let's make it the Latin 7 one. Let's just do regular Latin 7. And tricked. That way it just looks. So if you see it's warming up and it's frozen like this, that's okay. It's gonna do that. Now I've had issues in the past where even when it starts rendering, the screen never moves. What I've been able to fix that is sometimes a reboot fixes it to the computer. Sometimes in closing the application and reopening it fixes it. But whatever you do when it's acting like that, do not save, because if you save while that's happening, you are going to never get rid of it. And then you're going to have to start the project over, like restart a new project. I mean, that's what I do. But according to Nightwolf and such, like they've not had the problems that I've had. So I am probably the most chaotic person when it comes to the height chamber, which is probably makes me the best person to talk to about it, because I've probably experienced the weirdest stuff possible. So there's that. Because they tell me constantly that they've never seen the stuff that I do. Like they've never seen the stuff I experience, which is good. At least somebody's doing something. All right, muting this audio first thing. So let's run this. So that's the intro part. Remember I was mentioning that, like the media. We wanted to change that. Let's try and change it. Oh, that's also a brand logo. So let's change this. We're going to import that abstract video again. Just going to make it very simple, just in case that's a problem. Oh, that's right. You change it in here. So you right click the media, you change the media source, and now, there we go. Ah, it's trippy. That's cool. I like that. All right. Again, RLCS controller. This means that it won't update even though everything's set in here a certain way. Well, some things will, some things won't, apparently. Frozen here. We are gonna... That's cool looking. I really like that. But we are going to mute this. Mute works for visual stuff as well, so... So I have to change... We have to put, I guess, the logo in here. Because it is not updating at all. I have to change, like, the Championship Series stuff. Screens. Marquee. Okay, see? Again, brand. change it to the team marquee if we can. Of course. Got it. It's another thing that's manual. So we'll just change this to Latin. Can't type that all out. Oh! What's this? Peak level esports. Da, 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 da. That fixed. Now we need to change these colors. I got that. Got that. Got that. There we go. That is not changing. Why? I do not know. Material instance. So why won't that change? Feel free to chime in anytime, Wolfie, if you're still here. Or if we mute this. Yeah, that's not what we're... Gonna change the material. What's that look like? Looks like nothing, but that could be cool. Let's see. No, that's not what we're looking for. Oh, now it's saving. Why? I don't know. Still haven't gotten to the... Is this it? There we go. Okay. OP pattern. This is another one where we got to... Ah. Team. East. What was it? Does not like it when you scroll through this one. I don't know if it's because I'm streaming or... I don't usually have lag problems, but I've heard other people having problems like this. So now I gotta find where that pink is. Oh, am I gonna really wait? Try to figure this out. Is that pink coming from? Is there just a... Oh yeah, it's not tracked, that's why. Okay. So again, so it's not tracking. So you can add things into the sequencer, like but it's not loading for some reason. Don't know why. But as you can see in the details here, we can see that this is right here. So all we have to do is, how did we fix that last time? See, I already forget. This is what I'm talking about. Is there... Oh, yeah, this is the one we did last time. Boom. That one. There's the... There it is. This is the one where we have to color it ourselves, but that looks pretty cool. All right, that should be good enough. Let's try the render. Hey, this is the FS Open. Okay, we're on something new. We're off the text. Ooh, that looks nice. Probably will look better without the Latin 7 marquee there. But I bet we could probably kind of have that not visible. Fade that out and fade that back in. But I'm not really too picky right now. But I do like that abstract with the Latin 7 line look. Oh, you Wolfie again! You nabbed me. You got me again. Did it literally... Oh. I fixed it though, right? Is this one of the annoying ones? Yep. Oh, Wolfie. What are you doing to me? There is a way to fix it. I think you can go into the... You can edit the controller. And if you change the default text in this controller, it won't do that again, I believe. Somewhere is a default setting. Class defaults. Yeah, this is what should be here, but I don't know where that got changed. Nightwolf will have to tell you where he's changed it. Yeah, that's right. I'm making you do some work. You don't want Unreal in here. I don't think that... Oh, do I have to change that again? Because it's not tracking. Yep. Why isn't it adding... So why won't that add? Let's see if it sticks. Well, let me save it here. Well, it's not going to work here because it's tracked. It's not tracked in here. But let's give it a shot. Oh, and the text isn't the right color. No, it didn't follow that either. Oh boy. This is the annoying stuff that I scratch my head and then I end up going to Christoph or Nightwolf about crying. Why is it doing it? Right, because you know why would it be the team colors? There it is. Boom. But it's got to track that, I think. Of course, that's not going to show up. No, the background's going to be... Okay, you want this to be the accent. Yeah, you want this to be like black or white or something. Ooh, that's a tough one. Green or black? Who's going to show up better in here? This would be something I'd ask my wife about. I'm going to go black. Okay, got those colors changed, but are they going to stick? I don't think so. I can't track it in the... Like even in here, I can't track this, even though that one's set right. This one is not. is that tracking and not that one? Try and save this. We'll save it. This might be... I always get nervous when I save. Just... Here we go. And case in point, this is a great example. So I saved everything and now the camera isn't moving. Now oh, I take it back. I'm a liar. I'm a liar, but that's still not the right color. I wonder if I could drag it. Maybe I'll try that. MIX. Maybe that'll work. Material switcher. I think everything else was right, but this. So we'll try it again. And you got to remember to make sure you delete these because they do start to add up if you don't. Which one am I doing? This is the text. FS open. Again, like that's I was trying. First I was saying, well, the camera's not moving, everything's working, but that's when you're like, well, that point is when you fix it. Oh, we did it! Yeah! All right, we figured it out. We figured it out, or did we? Ah, the blue. It's almost had it. Did I miss one? Oh, that's his one. That's probably the one that is blue. Always blue. Always blue. Text got material to it. Okay. All right. No more nasty surprises. This is the frustrating thing, like when you're trying, like especially, it's not so bad once you have a system in place, but this is going to be very tough if you've got multiple teams to do this one scene with. I mean, you might figure out how to do it in a much faster way, and then it it won't be so bad. But again, when you're learning it, there's always like this little bit of learning curve, these little things that you got to figure out, and you really have to pay attention to the details, because as you know, like, say, all right, everything's perfect now, but sometimes even then, like, you go to look at, like, oh, I missed one little thing, and you won't notice it until you start, or maybe you're about to deliver it, or something small. Like you'll finally, or not notice it at all, which is, in my opinion, worse. So it's frustrating at best. I mean, it's frustrating to learn. Like, I mean, it's a really, really, really cool tool, and it's really awesome that Psyonix and the RL Esports team put this out to the public. And maybe they deal with this stuff all the time too, but you know, they have a set limited amount of people that they deal with it with, and they don't have to. And I definitely feel like they changed some things to not work with their, like, because, you know, obviously for them, they just click some buttons with the web controller and it works. Just works out of the box. But they have a set amount of scenes. So, and there are ways to set extra things in the controller. I was playing around with that. We'll make this the last render for the night, and then I will show you what I was working on, because the one thing that's very much a pain with me is, I'll show you after the render, is with this Octane model, there's two different materials that changes for me with every team. You can make this static and never have to deal with it again, which is probably the smarter thing, but I have it set in my head a certain way, and so from that point on, it's just not good for me. And that is, so the trim on this car is a separate color than obviously the skin, and this the way it was, the hype chamber, the way it was released, was never designed to handle two separate textures per team. It's only set to handle the skin per team. So every time I render a scene for a new team, if the trim is a separate color than the previous team, then I have to actually go into the model. We'll show you here. So car, open full blueprint error, viewport, just click on it. So if I don't want to use Chrome every time for every team, so let's say, like, oh, of course, Chrome works for this team. And to say I didn't want to use Chrome for that team, I think I would have to go in here and change the material. That's annoying. So I have been working on figuring out how to update it Do you have to make a new render every time a different set of teams play? Yes. I have to render the scene for every new team. I render a new scene for every team. Every new team I haven't done before. But I have developed a very solid workflow where I can get a new team done, like created start from scratch. Like, you know, I use the standard UV map. I literally, what I do is I change just the overlay of the color. With this one, I did something a little special. I actually added color to the background for the skin. Yeah, it's what kind of processor you got. It's not, well, okay. It's more of the GPU. It's your GPU is going to take most of the load. So with that being said, what's your GPU? A 3060 should be able to handle this. You should be able to handle it. Again, it's mostly your GPU, not your processor. So you should have no problem with it. Oh, did none of my stuff save? That would be tragic. Yeah, so for comparison, I have a 5950X and a 3090. It takes me roughly 5 minutes to render these scenes in 1440p. And the victory screens take me about 5 minutes in 1440p. The reason I do 1440p is because my standard resolution for my computer is 1440p. You could probably get away with doing 1080p and just setting it, but I just like the full resolution just because I can. But if you wanted, you could save your time by doing 1080p. You can also tweak with the details of the settings and stuff. It doesn't have to look as sharp, because honestly, once you're done, yeah, and look at his standard stuff. He does have a standard set of overlays that basically do everything you need. And you don't have to go through get the custom stuff like I did. So something to keep in mind. Okay, cool. I fixed. Yes, so I have been working on adding the car trim skin into the the version utility, so that basically when you select a team, let's go into the hype chamber controller, and then this is the event graph. This is kind of like, if you're not familiar with Unreal Engine or node-based logic at all, it might seem a little daunting, but they do have it very well separated and documented. But basically, these little nodes, you drag and drop, and it brings everything kind of like, I'm explaining this horribly. Basically, you connect the dots and it makes a bunch of logic. Instead of writing code, you kind of just, like I said, connect the dots. And what I've been working on is actually creating a trim paint matte ID, because I basically reverse engineered how this works. And what I'm working on at the moment is basically adding everything that they set for changing the paint, what they call the body paint matte ID, which is essentially the skin of the car. I have made the same thing for the trim. So once I get it working, I don't know if I actually got it working on it. Let's see. No, I don't think I got it working, because I don't think mine's set to meta. It's not even set to that. So the idea is, once I get it fully working and figure out every aspect of it, it's going to change not only the skin, the main skin of the car, which is what's already there now. It's going to change the trim of the skin as well. So like when you feel a little more comfortable and get a little more advanced, you can really start to mess with the, you know, the controller and all this stuff. Heck, if you even get comfortable enough, like in the demos the Psionics themselves have done, they've just made a whole thing from scratch. Now, I don't have the ability to make things from scratch, but you can really start to tweak what you want this to do. Now, I do recommend, again, once you make something that's going to be a standard for you, you copy that project and paste it and save it somewhere else, archive it, zip it somewhere so that it is safe. It doesn't get touched, because if this gets messed up, like, you can't really start from scratch. So, yeah, I think that's going to be it for me tonight. I hope this was kind of helpful and just gives you you know, some insight as to what working with the hype chamber is like. Now, I was messing with new stuff that I haven't touched in a while, but you know, when I go through my process of doing, I do strictly like the victory screens. So I make my skin, blah, 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 blah. I save the texture. I then open up the hype chamber. I import the texture. I copy an existing material, rename it, and then I put the new texture that I just made into that material. I create the new team in the data table here. I add, let's see, I add the car that they belong to, the team name, their code, their colors. Like, these are the only 3 colors you need. And like, this is the text. And then add the skin, add the marquee, add their stuffed enums. I then make a custom trim color if I want. And then from there, I just pick the color, pick the team, select the resolution, and I'm off to the races. I know exactly how my workflow works because I use it every single week. So, like, I was working on stuff that I don't normally use that often, but because I'm offering it to people as a service, you know, I need to figure out how to get it to work, especially for somebody who needs something specific. So, get yourself familiar with the things that you're going to use more often, and then just get better at it, because it will get faster. This was actually slow for me. I would not, like I said, it takes me about 5 minutes to 10 minutes a team to do the victory screens. So like that doesn't include the rendering time. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any more questions, as usual, hit me up on Discord, or hit me up on Twitter. I'm going to put this over on YouTube for those that are here still. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this was helpful to everybody. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time.